Hello, welcome to Patch. I'm your host, Paul James. I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How's things, mate?
See, you almost forgot my name there for a second. There was a
No,
slight
I
pause.
went to just
Slight
drop a.
pause.
I mean, I'm noticing the red background, and considering
Yeah,
today's subject matter, are you suggesting that you're some sort of renegade or
of
not a
course.
paragon?
No, if there's a choice to renegade, I will renegade.
What about in the
And
cricket?
which
Renegades or stars?
renegades?
Ah, you clown.
Because like my football team, I enjoy disappointment.
Yeah, okay. Fair. Well, I say that as a Stars fan, who's like the Melbourne Stars in the BBL are basically the Collingwood of the AFL, where they kind of get close, they cock tease you all the time, and then they lose, they choke, they do it all the time, as you as a Renegades fan would know from a certain final
Yeah.
of a few years back.
Yes.
That's a anyway. Footy season's on the end, and we're now pivoting over to cricket talk. Where I make the Mass Effect reference there because we're talking about the TV series, which was kind of, I don't know, not officially announced, but kind of announced this week. Variety kind of had the exclusive scoop on the Amazon developed TV series that's coming up. Amazon's got a few different kind of gaming related things in the pipeline, namely God of War is another one that's being worked on there. But of course, they've had a few different things that they've kind of been looking at spinning as well. So, what are you thinking about Mass Effect hitting screens, getting an adaptation?
Well, this was something I don't know who I was talking to this about many, many, many years ago when movie video game adaptations were horrible.
Yeah.
I think it was like something like Assassin's Creed or something came out and thought
Oh my god.
that was horrible. And then someone said, "Oh, why don't they do a Mass Effect movie?" I thought that would be terrible because the amount of content within the game, and you're trying to put it into a 2-hour movie or 3-hour movie,
Yeah.
you can't do. And I thought if you could do it in a TV show, yeah. But this was well before we had video game TV shows. Well before. It's just no. I don't think back then anyone would take the risk on that because it was
Well, I
only
don't think.
Netflix
Yeah.
back then.
TV's really only been this realm that they've decided they want to go to in recent years. And I mean, for years when we've been kind of seeing these film adaptations, I've been kind of saying TV's the best place to go. Like the stories, I mean, obviously something like Mass Effect, its main story, I think that would be doing it a massive disservice. And it's not to say that any book adaptations, like I mean, they still crammed the Lord of the Rings into three, I guess, kind of 9 hour, a kind of 9 hour thing. But like,
Or depends how big of a fan. It's either 9 hours over 3 films, or if you watch the extended edition, it's about 15
yeah,
hours.
well, and I kind of had the realization that we've got like a Harry Potter HBO adaptation coming up, which is basically just like an adaptation of the books, and the books, like each book outside of the last one was a standalone movie. So like maybe I'm kind of selling some of these things a little bit short, but like it's generally I think pretty hard to get all of the contents of, especially a game that's an RPG, and kind of squish that into a 2.5, even 3 hour movie and feel like you're kind of putting a full kind of start, middle act, and kind of conclusion in there without kind of having to cut stuff, selling some of the characters short, or kind of engaging in some of those side activities, like even the Witcher games, like that's a TV series. There's so much you can do with it, and you don't need to go film. And I think Borderlands has paid that price recently, though I think it wasn't a very good thing as well. But also I think it kind of lost the sense, some of the Borderlandsy sort of elements, which is kind of going off the main golden path and doing stupid shit like that.
I've watched
That's not a
30
feature.
minutes of that film so far, and all I can say is it is the most painful 30 minutes I've ever watched. It's not
Rough.
good. It is not good.
Yeah, it's pretty shit. So I think like TV is absolutely the best place, and we've seen it with Fallout this year. Have you watched that yet? I know we've spoken about it a couple of times.
I'm
But
slowly getting through it. I'm still going to watch the last 3 episodes. I'll get on to
it's so good.
announced season 2. Kevin McAllister's
Yeah.
going to be in it, so this is like apocalyptic Home Alone. So this is going to be great. I can't wait.
I mean, and everyone's heard me. You've heard me say this to death. Like I can't stand the Fallout games. I am going to have to try them off the back of all of this just to see the TV series has been the gateway in, but like I've not enjoyed the games in the slightest, and the TV series though I adored. It's one of the best things I've watched all year.
So I
So
went
there's
back
something to
and
be said for
played.
it.
Yeah, I went back and tried to play Fallout 3, and all I can say is, it didn't age well.
Yeah, they just need to announce that remaster, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
we can take a little swing at Bethesda here. They had a Fallout Day thing only a few weeks ago, and they kind of alluded to, oh, it's not going to be just Fallout 76. It was basically just Fallout 76, and this, I mean, they've they've confirmed that Fallout 3 remaster is a thing, but they didn't bring it back.
Yeah, when you said Fallout Day, I thought, oh, they did have a Fallout Day. They shut down 4 studios. Is that that's not a Fallout Day, but
yeah,
it was a Fallout.
It was a rough day though.
It was a rough day, not a Fallout Day. But yeah,
so,
I'm surprised people still played 76. But hey.
Oh, they announced it's like 25 or 30 million people now. Fallout 76 player
30 million people.
It's absurd. Like, it was a massive number if I remember.
We know what they're doing. They're bombing one person's place, as always.
Hell, I mean, they had their all-time peak concurrent earlier this year with nearly 74,000 people concurrently on Steam.
So I'm saying roughly around, let's just say roughly around the time the TV show went.
When did that?
It was earlier in the year.
Fallout TV series.
I don't know when. March? No, not March.
April 10th. So I'd imagine I'm going to skim back and have a look and see when that was.
When did it peak?
April 21st. So yeah.
There we go.
But I said, like, even now it's still, every day it's north of 10K every day for the last week.
Still. 10K.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's pretty solid. And again, keep in mind that's just PC. There's Xbox where it's available on Game Pass. There's PlayStation, which is the biggest audience of the lot. Apparently, like, Fallout 76 has been huge on PlayStation, specifically for some reason.
Is it free?
No.
It's not free. I thought it was free.
No, I don't think it's not free. There was something, I'm not going to find it now, but like there was something that I read that said that PlayStation was just the place for it. Yeah, I can't find the numbers that I'm talking about, but yeah, it was multiple tens of millions if I recall. So it's kind of crazy what's going on with that. And I mean, The Witcher had its massive numbers, and its peak concurrence came after the first season. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff around that. I'm sure the same sort of thing will happen with Mass Effect here, but yeah, TV I think is just the right format for it in terms of actually delivering the story that you want to tell. Diving into side stories if you want to. I still think of, when I think of kind of engaging with side stories or fleshing out characters and those sorts of things, I instantly think of the Bill episode in The Last of Us, which is a whole additional story that, I mean, Bill's a part of The Last of Us, but you don't see all the stuff that you see and learn about the guy like you do in the TV series, and that's one of the best hours of TV that I think I've ever seen. Like, they can just do so much with this, and the universe of Mass Effect is enormous. Like, I think this is absolutely the best platform for it. If you're going to do some sort of adaptation, you could do 10 seasons of this, and I mean, I'm not saying they should, but like, you could easily go 10 seasons of this and kind of explore the Turian Wars. You can look at what the Quarian have been doing at different points. Like there's
Rachni.
So many, the Rachni. I mean, the whole thing around the Rachni, and obviously the genophage and all those sorts of things. There's so many different stories you can get into, and just one of those, like say the genophage, for example, that could be a whole arc for an entire season where you're just spelling out what's happened to that whole race, how it all came to be, how I guess the question I'd ask of you is, would you, I mean, this thing is happening seemingly, would you want it to be an adaptation of the core Mass Effect trilogy? Do you want to see them enter Andromeda? Do you want them to kind of focus on either of those kind of timelines, but not necessarily the Commander Shepard storyline? Or I've already gone blank on their names. The characters from Andromeda.
The writers.
Thank you. Like, would you want it to be an adaptation of the game down to the characters being present, or do you just want to see Mass Effect and it's just a story in the Mass Effect universe, similar to what we're seeing with the Fallout TV
Oh,
series.
I think the difference with the Fallout TV series is though, because every Fallout game is different. So every game
Well,
you don't
yeah,
see the same characters in the new games. It's different periods within Fallout. Whereas Mass Effect 1 to 3, we'll say 1 to 3. It's the same characters, it's the same locations, it's the same main character. It's all that.
yeah,
I think that's sort of the two different things. It's all the same with The Last of Us, because you look at The Last of Us, could you have gone a separate way, like you did, say, with Bill, or do you stick with the Joel and Ellie story? Which, yes, you should in that matter, because that's what the game is about, is those two
those two,
Last of
yeah.
Us. So, but with Mass Effect, it's a weird thing because, like I said, given the Fallout, Halo, we won't talk about that because that was
Yeah,
just one should never remove a person's helmet. Ruined it.
yes,
Silly.
Master Cheeks.
Old bastard cheeks. But then in doing that though, if you stick with the game, there's another problem as well, which is in the game itself, your choices.
Yeah,
So when it comes,
they've got to commit to something, right?
they're going to commit to something. So, for instance, does Rex die? Who do you pick between Ash and
Caden,
what's his name, Caden? So who do you pick between those two? Both
the
of them can't
dickhead, or
survive
the
racist.
racist.
Yeah, so you got to pick between those two. You can't just say, "Oh, we're going to keep both," because you say, "Well, that didn't happen in the game. You can't do that. We didn't have the choice. Either should you," and all that. But then when it comes, like the Solarians, like, do you save them? Do you not? And then you got to piss off a whole heap of people saying, "Oh, well, why is this not here? Why'd you save them?" and all this stuff. Is like, well, it's probably like what Mass Effect does is go by percentages. Did you save him? Did you not? Did you kill Rex? Did you not?
Which is, I guess, like in some ways, and this is admittedly a game sequel, not an adaptation, but I've spoken about this before as well. This is kind of what happened with Infamous 2, where they looked at the player numbers. They gave you the choice to kind of go good or go evil, and the majority of people chose good, and it was reflected in the trophies of the game, and so that informed Sucker Punch's decision to go, okay, well, it's based on how the good ending finishes. That's what they leapt off with for Infamous 2. So maybe they can use some data from the games that kind of goes, okay, this is kind of canon, for want of a better kind of way of looking at it. I also wouldn't object to the idea that they just set a story in the universe. Maybe it kind of overlaps with the Shepard arc, or maybe it overlaps with the Ryder arc. I think I could deal with a story that's kind of in the universe, and you can kind of explore lots of different things. It's in kind of a Star Wars way, without getting too crazy and stupid about Star Wars in the way that Star Wars is unfortunately gone these days. You can tell a lot of stories in that space without necessarily having to be too transfixed by Commander Shepard and all that he or she does. I mean, that's another thing too.
Yeah.
You've got to commit to agenda of Shepard.
Yeah, that too. But it's also, I would like to see, your companion's side story as well. Something you don't see, like Garrus in CSEC
Yeah,
and what he saw in that, and like why did he end up not wanting to work for CSEC anymore, and all this, and also
yeah.
say like Tally with the Normandy,
Oh
not
my
the
god,
Normandy,
yeah.
with the pilgrimage,
The flotilla, yeah.
all that stuff. Same with it, Rex. Same with the Genophage sort of situation, all that. Even the Krogan backstory. See, there's so much you can go down here, and I'm trying to think of what other silly side characters were. The Asari.
Yep.
It's one of those things like
There's so much to work
many,
with.
There's so many like little areas you can go with it. Like, and like I said, the whole Shepard situation also a problem, because if you did it with Andromeda, you do have the choice of male female, but one's in a coma and one's not.
Yeah.
So you can probably have both if you went down the Andromeda path. But with the Shepard
True.
side of things, it's one or the other, and then you're going to either piss off people one way or another. So,
Do we get Martin Sheen on board as the Invisible Man? If like, I feel like we need to, right?
I'd say yes, but also get Keith David.
Well, yeah.
Play. I forgot what his character name was.
Anderson.
Anderson.
Yeah.
I think if you anything, you get Keith David to play Anderson, and yeah, if you could get Martin Sheen to play the elusive man, you go for it.
Every day of the week. My other, I guess, big query about the show, and this is more, I guess it doesn't really matter what story you do or don't follow at this point, is like budget. I can't, I can't imagine this is going to be cheap. And I know they've just like Amazon has been doing Rings of Power, as in Lord of the Rings,
That's
and
expensive.
that's which is a shame because it's shit.
Incredible.
But I don't. Well, actually, I haven't seen season 2, but season 1 was fuck.
Apparently, season 2 is good.
It was like high quality, but it was just it was so boring to watch. Maybe if you're saying season 2 is good, I might do a bit of poking around to see if more people are echoing that. But I'll check it out at some point because I still love Lord of the Rings. But like that's an expensive show, and I can't imagine Mass Effect's going to be any cheaper. I feel like it's going to be potentially even more expensive, and it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot you got to do to make the money that you need to make to then justify a second season or more. And then there's the worry that if you do kind of have to cut it at some point because you're now kind of at a point where if we go one more season we're probably not going to make money. Well, did you finish the story that you wanted to tell? That was what worked so well about Mass Effect 1 when BioWare designed it in the first place, is that
they didn't know they'll make it a second game.
Well, they'd kind of planned for the second and third,
but
if that didn't work out, Mass Effect 1 was a self-contained story that would have just been on its own. And then, of course, they got greenlit by EA for the second and third, and they went for it, and they nailed it, mostly.
99% of it they nailed.
90, yeah. And then there's obviously a contentious ending. But, like, my worry would be, okay, you're kind of telling this story, and you've committed to something, and then all of a sudden, because it's such a cost to make it, that they kind of cut it off. I don't know. Amazon's got a lot of money, but that's a concern for me as well. And I think further than maybe justifies the idea that you go off and do your own story, because it's probably easier to put a bow on it if that's the case. Like, you can kind of wrap it up and people don't feel like they've been burnt. You haven't gone to the end of Mass Effect 2 and then didn't have the money to see out the whole Reaper invasion and all that. Like, can you imagine the riots in the streets? And it's an amazing series, and then sorry, it cost us too much. We got to stop it here. We're done.
So what? Well, we're not going to see the suicide mission. You just cut it off here. You're going to piss off a lot of people if you did that.
Yeah.
It's like, we want to know who survived, who didn't. If you go down that path.
Yeah, agreed. So the finances, I think, are a big part of this, and maybe for me, in my opinion anyway, maybe steers it a bit more towards the brand new characters set in the same universe. Maybe you do or don't interact with a Shepard or a Ryder or something, or kind of straddle multiple galaxies. You go off to a whole other galaxy potentially again. There's options. I'm keen on it though. I think
I am too.
I'm getting the same vibe from you. It's like I'm pretty keen on it, and they've got some talent working on it. It sets off some little alarm bells when I see like Avi Arad. Like, I know you from Fast and the Furious, not something that I specifically
there's no cars here
respect or care about.
No.
So
they're bringing back stupid whatever that car was in Mass Effect 1. Dear.
Let me double check. So Daniel Casey is set to write and executive produce the adaptation. I don't know Daniel Casey. I'll work out what Daniel Casey has done. But Daniel Casey.
Oh no!
It's taken me to IMDb, and it's taken me a lot of shows that are like ranked
Fast and Furious
4, 5, 6 out of 10. Hang on, is this an actor though?
No, there's an American writer.
Right.
So he did write Fast and Furious 9.
Is there anything good beyond that? Oh, 10 Cloverfield Lane's great.
But it was uncredited.
Uncredited. Got Dog.
Don't know what kid is. Dinner. Let's have a look. Rotten Tomatoes 35%. That's not a good sign. That's not good. But in saying that, there have been other people who've written movies and that, and they've not been good, and then they write a TV series and it's good.
Kareem Zreik. I'll have to look up.
Another one.
Will executive produce under the Cedar Tree Productions banner. What have you done? National Treasure. You know,
Sold.
the old
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage movie, yeah.
Nicolas Cage
Uh,
and Doug.
oh, hang on, this guy's got some clout. So he's let me bring up the whole thing here. So he did Jericho back in the day, the TV show Jericho.
Oh yeah, Jericho.
Did the Defenders, the Marvel's Defenders TV series? Did Luke Cage? Did Iron Fist? Daredevil? Punisher? Jessica Jones? So the guy's got, and
TV
like all of
series,
them.
okay.
I know people might be a bit burnt out on some stuff, but like it's all been pretty high quality to my understanding, for a lot of those adaptations. So this guy seems to have some chops. And then who else? And then Avi Arad producing. I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure I. I'm sure I recall Avi Arad for something that I wasn't crazy about, but I could be wrong. Avi Arad is known for 2024's Borderlands,
Oh no.
but also Iron Man 2008.
But he also did Spider-Man Across the Universe. And Uncharted and Mobius. See, this is a really mixed bag
It's got a
here.
bit of mixed
There's some
bag.
really good stuff. Spider-Man Far From Home, good. So let's just
Importantly,
say all
what
he's
I'm seeing
been
is
doing
that
is
EA is Michael
Marvel
Gamble.
films.
Hey,
Oh, that would make sense. He was the chief creative officer of Marvel Entertainment, which would make sense to see all that.
importantly, Michael Gamble, who's from BioWare and was like a huge part of all things Mass Effect, and is a part of like he was the one that kind of put out that awesome key art for the new upcoming Mass Effect. Like that's like he's kind of overseeing it as well alongside Avi Arad, and I think that's what's worked pretty well for some of these different adaptations, like Todd Howard working with the team on Fallout, Neil Druckmann like is crazy hands-on with The Last of Us, and unsurprisingly those two where the game creators have been really actively involved have been some of the best adaptations to this. Well, sorry, those two are absolutely the best two adaptations to date. So maybe there's something to that as well. But otherwise, yeah, overall deal, Amazon's MGM Studios, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. I don't think we're going to get this for a few years, but it could also, seeing some stars align now that BioWare is full steam ahead on Mass Effect, now that Dragon Age is done, they've confirmed there's no DLC there. I could see new Mass Effect game launching somewhere within the 12-month window that a TV series comes out.
Yeah.
And not because they've necessarily designed... Well, the game will be running to its kind of schedule, and we probably won't see that until, what are we now, 2024, so maybe 2026, 2027. The TV series might be like 12 months before, but like people are kind of frothing at the mouth over all things Mass Effect. They then get the game, whatever the new game happens to be. Season 2 is then on the way, and there's even more people now frothing over the TV show. Like there's a few different ways that can really engage a crowd here. Maybe that, when it comes to the budget thing, is a great cross-promotional sort of way to get lots of people buying up, but we'll see. Any other thoughts on a Mass Effect TV adaptation?
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm glad that's going into a TV form, not a movie, because movie would have absolutely bombed badly.
That, or they're committing Star Wars style. Like, you know, we're doing 3 movies. Like, we have to do this to get the arc done. But even then, you wouldn't be doing it properly.
Because fans would get upset and you would just buckle under pressure and go, "Oh, we're going to change it now." Good work, Disney.
We're going to change the film's ending.
We're just going to change the story completely. We're just going to absolutely just just bury these characters as well, since you didn't like them online.
Go see it in cinemas. When people don't like the ending of the movie, before it then hits streaming services and Blu-rays and all those sorts of things, change the ending. Publish it for everyone and go, no, you don't remember it properly. This is exactly how it's always been.
Did they do that?
Well, I mean, they changed. Well, no, sorry, they didn't claim that's how it's always been with Mass Effect but they obviously patched the ending.
Oh, right, yes, okay, yeah. And they had to put out a massive paragraph explaining why it ended like that, and people going, that still makes no sense.
Yeah.
Even your explanation makes no sense.
The red, green, and blue lights and all that sort of shit. Good one, guys.
I waited 6 years to shoot a bloody tube. For nothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a shame.
Oh, yes. I'll just get those. Oh man, just thinking about it just makes me angry.
Just stings a bit.
It
All right,
stings.
we'll wrap things up there, though. If you enjoyed this episode of Patch, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes Patched. We've got a whole range of videos dedicated to different games. There's sometime this week you should expect to see a two-player, like a co-op player two plays that's going to pop up for a new release of this week. We've got plenty of cool stuff. There's still shorts popping up on the YouTube channel as well. Go check all that stuff out. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au. Keep it a few bucks. Lower tiers, early access. Higher tiers, monthly episode exclusives. And finally, there's Twitter. Matto.
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for myself. The website is player2au. And until next time, thanks a lot for watching. And I hope this is your favourite podcast on the Citadel. We'll see you later.
For Super Earth.
Mixing our references.